Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Energy RX. I am absolutely delighted to introduce you to Garz Chan. She's someone who I've been following. She has a pretty big social media presence. I've been following her for about 9 months, and she has kicked off for me an expanded view of reality. And so I am going to tell you a little bit about her, and then we'll dive into who she is and the extraordinary things she is doing. Garz Chan is an internationally respected energy healer, psychic surgeon, spiritual teacher, and author with extensive training across a wide spectrum of healing and consciousness based modalities. She is certified in dozens of healing techniques, psychic mediumship, astral projection, and advanced work with telekinesis and aerokinesis, exploring the relationship between consciousness, energy, and physical systems. Her work centers on deep energetic clearing and repatterning that addresses root causes rather than symptoms, supporting healing across the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual levels. Her approach blends disciplined training with intuitive mastery, offering clients and students direct experiences of expanded awareness, coherence, and healing. Beyond her private practice, Garz teaches workshops and trainings through Alchemist's Arts Healing, where she shares tools for energetic literacy, consciousness expansion, and personal empowerment. Garz, thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored.
Oh, it's a thrill. So, I am going to invite everybody to remember that history is filled with people who challenged what the current worldview was and what was possible. Think of Galileo, who proposed that the earth revolved around the sun rather than the sun revolving around the earth. He was imprisoned for that. And history is littered with people who've challenged current held beliefs. And some of the things that we'll be talking about may challenge your worldview about what is possible. And I just encourage everyone to be open, be curious, and allow yourself to consider different possibilities, and that we as humans are able to do a lot more than what we have been taught to believe we're capable of. So I'm just going to encourage you to consider that as you listen to this conversation. So Garz, I'll say how I found Garz. I was scrolling on TikTok, which quite honestly, I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok because I really don't love social media,
Mhm.
but it's how I find extraordinary people like Garz and people who are bringing in new information. I would never be able to find Garz without something like social media. So I do have this conflict within myself, but then I also have this expanded reality through it. So I watched Garz doing something with a pinwheel. She was outside and using her hands, she was making the pinwheel move in different directions. Now, if you have been doing energy work for a long time and are intuitive, you can feel when someone is legitimate and when someone's not. And so I knew that what she was doing was real. I also love, Garz, I have to tell you this. One thing I love, because you'll see the comments, and sometimes everyone putting themselves out in a very vulnerable way is going to get nasty comments and haters out there. And so I've seen some of the comments that have come on her feed, and the way you respond is so beautiful. She just says, "My content's not for you." And it's just clear. She's not attacking. She's just saying, like, this isn't for you. Like, go somewhere else. Mike, I don't need to justify myself to you. I don't need to explain myself to you. What I'm offering isn't meant for you. So there's that.
Yeah. There's it's interesting because when I was just posting energy healing material content, you have like this beautiful hub of starseeds and light workers and empaths and healers and psychics and these like magical people who want to live in a magical world, and
Yeah.
they're very encouraging and uplifting and full of love. And then I started posting uh, light language videos, and you kind of get the same kind of type of people, different
Mhm.
crowd, but like the same. They believe in aliens and other galaxies and different dimensions.
Right.
And then when I started posting videos of spoon bending and aerokinesis and telekinesis, that's when the masses jump in, right? And with that, you have people who are like, wow, that's amazing, that's incredible, that's unbelievable. And then you have people go, you're full of shit. You're a charlatan.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
how do you sleep at night? And this is the devil's work. And oh, wah, 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 wah. And then you have people who want to challenge you and say, well, prove it. Show that there's no fan. Show that there's no magnet. Show that there's no string. Show that there's, someone's shaking the tree. Someone's, it's just, I don't have the, I don't have the time or the energy to debate or argue or prove anything
Yeah.
to anyone, If you're skeptical, great, be skeptical.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to spend my time arguing with people because I do my best to respond to all the comments on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, and it takes up a lot of time,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm sure with as many followers you have, that would be like a little job in and of itself of just going into each different platform and responding to people.
Yeah, when my one of my videos went viral, I guess, 2.4 million views,
Yeah, it's viral.
and that's viral, right? Oh my
I'm
goodness.
sure it is.
And I spent 10 hours a day responding to comments. And I thought, I can't sustain this. This is not
No.
sustainable. And then I had to turn off my DMs because I had over 600 DMs. Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm so overwhelming. Yeah. So now I have all these filter words so that if people say certain things that are quite offensive or rude, they just don't show up on the comments now. And if they do somehow show up in my comment section and they've broken down words to bypass, to override the filtered words, I just delete them and block them, you know?
Smart. Yeah.
It's
Don't
like
feed it.
my house, right? If you come in my house, take your shoes off and be pleasant. If you're going to be rude, obnoxious, abusive, you're not welcome,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Go to someone else's house.
So I want to come back to the light language piece because it's another area that I don't have training in, and I watch it and you can feel it, and I've watched your videos, um, and you can feel the energy of it. One of the things that I thought was so interesting, we're not going to go back and tell Garz's like whole origin story because she's been on so many podcasts. I recommend you go listen to her podcast on Lee Harris. He did a great interview with her from a couple years ago, and she talks about her childhood and this journey of it. It's a great one. It's an hour, it's easy to listen to, and you can hear more of her origin story. But the light language piece, when I watch you or someone else doing light language, I think, oh, you have to get so vulnerable to be able to let go and allow the light language to come through. To me, it actually feels quite scary to imagine just letting that language flow. And what I thought was fascinating was you said, no, you're more comfortable doing light language because you are bilingual, you speak two different languages. And so with English, there can be more of almost like challenge when you get more in your head when you're communicating sometimes with English because of the grammar. And for you, you feel totally free with the light language.
Yes, I am bilingual. So my family are actually Hakka people, but I also grew up watching Hong Kong movies, so we learned Cantonese. My Chinese is very poor. I'm not fluent in that at all, but that was my first language because
Right.
I don't speak it anymore with anyone. But with English, my grammar is not perfect and I get tripped up sometimes. So sometimes I get into my head about has, have, was, were, these things.
Uh-huh.
But when I speak light language, it's very liberating for me because there's no grammar to light language and it's not logical and you don't think about it, you just feel it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I just open myself up as a channel, connect to, the starseed family, and have the intention in the back, the English intention, right? And then
Mhm.
it just comes out of me.
So I just saw one that you did for nerve damage or for nerves. So you're holding, okay, this is for people having to help their nervous system nerves. You're holding that thought and then you open to
Yeah.
this like kind of star family reality, and then the transmission comes through, and the frequency, the tones, the vibrations, or whatever it is coming through offers a healing for this thought that you're thinking of how what you want to heal or transform.
Yes. So I have an intention,
Hmm.
right? The intention is, okay, let me channel a light language transmission to help nerve damage
Right.
and nerve repair. That's my English thought, and
Hmm.
it kind of hangs out in the back here somewhere.
Hmm.
And then I connect to my star family, and then I just let it come out of me.
Okay, can we talk about your star family and how you like what that connection is? If there was a point at which you understood maybe who they are or how you're connected to them, was there a point that you could remember when you first realized, oh, this is part of my greater family?
Many years ago, when I was living in Culver City, I was still seeing clients in person,
Hmm.
and I had a client come to visit me, and she said, I, I saw this video and I can't stop. I was like, can't stop what? She said, this movement. And I saw this video of this woman doing a movement, and now I can't stop. And she started
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
light codes.
Right.
And when she started doing it and she was in the zone and she let herself go, I felt something activating within myself.
Okay.
And on one hand, I thought, what is she doing? But I guess consciously, I thought, "Well, what is she doing?" But then subconsciously or unconsciously, or my soul recognized, oh, I know this. Something within me is happening. So her light language, she didn't speak, she just used her hands, but it activated the something within myself. I guess the lifetimes of me being a starseed, right? So then I went down the rabbit hole of watching so many videos and reading up on star seeds, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is why I feel like I don't belong here. This is why I don't agree with the 3D paradigm. This is why, I experienced the abuse that I experienced, and this is why I numbed myself out, in a period of numbing myself out with drugs, and this is why I don't agree with the way they run the world, and this is why, and everything just made sense to me. Yeah, and then started doing it myself.
You started doing it. So it was in a way you're watching videos, but you were also self-taught. So you didn't like take a light language course. You just started diving into it.
Well, I started watching videos and I started mimicking. That's how it began,
Okay.
right? So my client activated something, then
Right.
I started watching videos, then I started mimicking, and then I did take one class because I thought, what if I'm doing it wrong?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm doing this wrong.
Yeah.
So I took a class, like a 1 day class, a 1 hour class, and I thought, oh no, actually, yeah, no, I'm doing it right. This is it just confirmed to me that you're not doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that we need to get out of our own heads, right? And so you, like me, have taken dozens of different, she has a laundry list of different modalities and teaching tools that she has. I consider myself a lifelong learner. I actually really love to take classes. I really enjoy it.
Same.
I love it. I love it. And so I can imagine you're like, oh, I want to make sure if someone else really understands this. I want to make sure that I'm doing it correctly so I can understand how you would, I want to take a class on it because you have this curious mind. And what more can I learn? And maybe that person has something to share. Even if it's a 2-minute conversation, there can be something like your client activating you that you didn't expect that. But you can, by meeting these people through different classes and courses, all kinds of magic happens. And so, yeah, I probably would do the same thing. Like, oh, I want to go and be with other people who are also doing this and feel their energy. But now you now are the teacher. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, I teach light language, yes, amongst a bunch of other things.
You have a lot of,
Um,
yeah, what can you tell all the different things that you're teaching right now? It's a lot.
yeah, so in my workshop, I teach karma clearing, which
Okay.
falls under Chinese energy healing. I teach muscle testing, energy testing, the Akashic records, clearing soul contracts, light language, psychic mediumship, speaking to those who've crossed over,
Hmm.
psychometry, reading objects
Yeah.
psychically, quantum jumping, aura reading, strengthening, jumping into parallel lives, reading parallel lives, removing entities, chakra balancing, removing psychic cords, the subtle bodies, the systems of the bodies, your guides, meeting your guides, your animal totems, your gatekeepers, psychic surgery, and a little bit of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, astral projection, neutralizing phobias. Uh, yeah.
So that's a lot. Are these taught each as individual classes, or it's sort of like a workshop where we're going to touch on a bunch of different things?
Yeah, it's a 7-day workshop. Well, I have a pre-recorded online workshop that's available, and you have lifetime access to that.
Okay.
And then I will also do a live Zoom, 7-day live Zoom workshop where I teach everything, and the course is jam-packed. So you are learning lots of different techniques and modalities back to back, back to back, back to back, and they stack up. There's like this they stack, day one, day two, day three, and then by day seven, people just like, yeah.
Okay. That sounds amazing. Amazing. All kinds of amazing things there. One of the things that I haven't heard as a course is called quantum jumping. Can you talk a little bit about what your quantum jumping is?
hmm Quantum jumping is you're jumping timelines or parallel universes to meet parallel lives of yours. You can, if you're struggling, say, for example, with romance, or you're struggling with a health issue, or you're struggling with career, you can jump to different timelines, different universes, and meet different versions of yourself that may be struggling or has that issue. And then once you know and you've met and you've seen that version of yourself also struggling with that issue,
Mhm.
you can jump back to where you are now and clear the negative effects of that from you because all of these lifetimes affect you now. So you can also, if you want to learn a language, if you want to a career change, if you want to learn a new hobby like painting or learning an instrument, you can also jump to different parallel universes and meet parallel versions of yourself that is an expert at that thing. And you can merge with that version of yourself or bring back those skills
Mhm.
and strengths to merge with this version of yourself so that you can learn that thing very quickly.
Okay, that's amazing. So when we talk about parallel lives and that there are all these different versions that we are sort of a fractal here, but that there is this, like disco ball. out there of all of these different versions of us. How do you how do you envision that? I mean, I know for me how I perceive it in my head, but how do you perceive us as a soul, yet also having all of these other aspects of our soul living in other realities?
Yeah. This may not seem logical to some people, but this is how I see it
Yeah.
in my mind. So I see us as being like this massive tree, right? That's
Hmm.
like the oversoul.
Yeah.
And then every leaf is a lifetime and a different version of ourselves.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That's how
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah, it's all connected to the same thing. And you can think about leaves, how they're like, not every leaf is exactly the same. That we have every leaf is a little bit different, its own little leaf fingerprint on this tree. That's beautiful. I love that way of seeing it. That's
Hmm.
that's lovely.
How do you see it?
I sort of see like the way when I visualize it, I see this bright soul in like almost the shape of just the human body, this bright soul sort of in the middle of it. And then emanating out with all of these rays are just these lifetimes, like smaller versions of like aspects of this soul version out in all of these different places. But that the core, like almost like the tree, like the same is I see it more like light, right? So, but
Mhm.
it's similar. It's this coming from this one emanation, all of
Yeah.
these different pieces.
Shards of light, beams of light. That's
Yes.
beautiful.
So, and there's no right or wrong way. We just perceive things in certain ways because it's very it's such a complicated conversation. And for me, I know people can think, "Oh, that sounds crazy," but I have had enough experiences where that's like for me, it's my truth. It's not just a belief. It's a become over time a truth for me. I remember I had one experience. I was practicing a modality. I was getting ready to practice on the teacher. It was manual lymphatic drainage. And I was learning the Vater technique of manual lymphatic drainage. And the teacher was so strict about how you did it in this. She made people cry. Like it was a big training and everyone cried and because you had to get it right. And I was getting ready to do my pass off on her. And I was practicing on someone else. And suddenly it was the strangest thing. I saw what looks like an alien being with their eyes wide open and practicing something. Like my brain was nowhere near like thinking about aliens. I was getting ready to pass off with this really aggressive teacher. And I suddenly I have this vision. I'm like, where is this coming from? And then when she came on my table to practice on this teacher, she had her eyes open and her mouth held in exactly the same way, the same look in her eyes, like the way she was looking off. It was this crazy moment, and I know it sounds nuts, of like this overlap between something happening in some other reality and this reality, like just stacked on top of each other. And I've had
Mm.
many other things like that, but that was the first time I thought, what am I seeing? But it was like somewhere within me, I knew that it was some kind of reality merge.
Hmm. Yeah, like a superimposed.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I've had many experiences like that where you've seen sort of reality blend almost in a way of seeing
Yeah.
other dimensions or other possibilities. And if people say, "Oh, well, you're insane." I live a really sane life, in fact. I'm a pretty grounded person.
Hmm.
Um, but I allow the magical and extraordinary to be infused into my life. I don't shy away from it. I kind of run towards it.
Yeah, and don't you love it when those things happen?
Love it. It's the best thing. It's so fun. And then the super synchronicities that happen in your life, the things you can't make up. You've had plenty of those in your life. I know. So Garz leads this very spirit-led life. She's very much a reluctant healer. We're not going to go back into the story, but She got so many messages from like vans driving past her saying teach when she asked the question. And so when you start allowing yourself to live in this world in collaboration with the universe, in collaboration with spirit, they respond back to you.
Yeah, yeah. I've worked on so many clients who are supposed to be healers, but they're reluctant. And then they find themselves working with me. And I'm like, I think you're supposed to be a healer. And they go, no. And they resist and they're reluctant. And then I say, okay, well, you can run, but you can't hide. You can go on a little detour if you want, but at the end of the day, this is what you're supposed to do. So it's going to catch up with you at some point. And it's true. Eventually, 2 years time, 10 years time, they end up working as a healer. And you can look at the signs and follow them, and you can look at the signs and you can ignore them. And it doesn't matter if you ignore them,
Yeah.
they will just get louder and louder and louder. And if you don't walk, you'll be dragged.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. You it's it's coming. And I think would you say also when, someone says, I don't want to be a healer. I mean, not everyone has to do this for a living. They can I mean, I find healers in all walks of life that they bring this healing and some people do it in a more specific way and it's their job. And there are many, many, many other people who they do it in their families. They're like, you know what? I don't want to be out there. I don't want to be kind of public facing. And they do it for their friends and they do it for their family, but they're here. They have something within their soul that wants to bring part of their contract is to bring this healing. And I think this shift in humanity that we're at the cusp of right now.
Hmm. Yeah, I've met lots of people who are incredible healers, but they don't want to work as a healer, and
Mhm.
that's their prerogative, you know. And then there are people who heal through different ways. Comedians are a type of
Yeah,
healer, right?
absolutely.
So whenever you watch someone and they're making you laugh, that's healing.
Yeah,
And it's the quickest way to actually, raise the vibration, right? Laughing.
yeah, it
Yeah.
really
So.
is. Well, so that's why I've decided. So, how I found Garz was from watching her do this aerokinesis, and then she does it with trees and she does it with objects, and she can make them move, and then she can just make them move with her mind. I've watched her standing out in her hallway and making a piece of foil move without just thinking about it. So there's spoon bending, there's mind sight, which is seeing like with a blindfold on. So what I've decided to do is just put a group of friends together. Like, let's have this be just a fun, maybe like once a month or twice a month, fun group activity where we get together and we practice all of these things, not in a way that's pressure, but in a way where we're laughing and there's fun. Because I feel like, now I haven't done it yet, but I feel like that's going to be a really great way to kind of build the energy because we're going to enjoy being together and we always laugh when we're together. So I'm hoping that it's helpful and being more able to do the telekinesis and spoon bending and all of those things.
Mhm. Yeah, fun is important. I mean, if you think about it, when we tap into the ability to heal. I mean, I always say I'm not healing anyone. I'm just cleaning. I'm just the cleaner. I'm just the janitor, right? So I'm just clearing out the junk and all the things that you've hoarded. It could be emotions, it could be traumas, whatever. But there's something about that work that is playful, right?
Mhm.
Because you're tapping into the senses that go beyond the five senses. And you are having to use your imagination and you're seeing the unseen and you're hearing the unheard and you're tapping into the unknown. So there has to be a level of playfulness to it, you
Yeah.
know?
So when you do sessions, so I know right now, if you were to go and book a session with Garz, you would typically book a 20 or 30-minute session, and you have all of these different tools that you may use. I'm not, I know that you may use certain ones, or have you found that through all of these techniques that you've learned, that you've sort of morph that into something that is unique just to you? That is, and that you feel that, okay, with this person, I'm like you kind of step out, you step outside of the confines of different modalities and just
Mhm.
step into your soul of what do I need to do here? How, like, how do you work?
Yeah. You're so funny. Yeah, so basically, I just drop into the person's energy field and the information will show up. I may see things, I may hear things, I may see snippets, traumas from other lifetimes. I may feel tension, pain in my own body.
Mm,
I may see words.
okay.
I may hear things. I may smell things. I may taste things. So I'm using my clairs.
Yeah.
But all the information is in your energy field.
Right.
And then I just start sorting it out. Some people need a light dusting. Some people need a deep clean. And some people need a renovation.
Yeah.
And I have my toolbox, right, of all the different modalities. And sometimes it's like, oh, okay, I think this one works with this
Yeah.
person. And then for someone else, it's like, okay, I need a whole bunch of tools. And then with someone, it's like, okay, I just need one tool. And then sometimes it's just a fusion and it's just a flow. You
Yeah.
know, you just get into a zone when you work and it's just very fluid. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what I suspected. That's I suspected that you'd sometimes just kind of let go and it's like I'm going to allow like all of whatever is meant to come through for this person.
Yeah, because when you drop into the person's energy field, they will tell you what needs to be cleared or what uh needs to be examined or looked at, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like every child will tell you how they need to be parented. Every child, will tell you how they need to be parented if you listen. So every client will tell me how they need to be worked on. Some people need something very gentle, and some people need something a bit more, what's the word? Hands-on.
Hmm. Yeah. So when people, so you have your session with them, you do the clearing work, and you could be clearing all kinds of things. It could be traumas from this life, it could be entities, it could be, past life, parallel reality lives, anything else in there that you may be clearing?
Negative limiting beliefs, traumas, emotions, curses, hexes,
Hmm.
spells, entities, parasites, implants, karma. Yeah, it could be a
A lot.
belief.
Yeah.
It could be a memory. All kinds of things.
Okay, so okay, I do want to ask about a few of these things. You were, I don't know if you still go by the Karma Lady, but at one point you were the Karma Lady, correct? So
Yeah.
how do you explain karma to people? Like what karma is?
Well, karma, I mean, if you look it up, karma just means the sum total of your thoughts and your behavior and your actions, right?
Hmm.
And some people say, uh, well, when I was growing up, people would say karma is, whatever goes around comes back around. And then some people say that karma doesn't exist, and some people say that you shouldn't work on anyone's karma because if you take someone's karma, you take on that karma. So there's all these different beliefs about karma.
Right.
But from my experience doing sessions, is say, for example, I worked on a VP of a construction company, and he had just finished a project. His bonus was $4 million, but he didn't get his bonus from his client.
Hmm.
And he hadn't gotten any bonuses from this specific client for 15 years. And his contract said, if I finish on time, I will get a bonus. Well,
Right.
for 50 years, he never got a bonus. So I was like, now he said to me, I don't know what you do. I don't even know if I really believe in what you do, but I'm very desperate because this bonus is $4 million
Right.
and I just can't stomach letting go of $4 million.
Right.
So do whatever it is that you need to do and we'll see. So I cleared some trapped emotions that were stored in his body. And then I cleared some karma between him and the client. You know, lifetimes of him stealing from his client, lifetimes of his client stealing from him, and lifetimes of them being, you know, family, friends, enemies, competing with each other, taking from each other, abusing each other, you know, all that kind of stuff. And 2 weeks later, he got his $4 million.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing.
Count, countless stories
Yeah.
of that. A lot of people who were, you know, this is not a very romantic way of looking at romantic relationships, but a lot of people come together because they have karma to resolve with
Right.
each other. And I always say to my clients who are going through a difficult time with their romantic partner, I don't have the power to clear karma so that you stay together or go your separate ways. I can only clear karma between you and your partner so that whatever is meant to happen for your highest good will happen organically and smoothly. And when we remove and clear the karma, the intensity of the lessons with this person will decrease, right? So it will lessen in intensity. And not all the time, but a lot of the time, when you clear the karma between two people, they tend to go their separate ways
Right.
because their karma is resolved,
Right.
right?
Right.
But not all the time. And sometimes people come together because they provide growth for each other.
Hmm.
And sometimes that can be in a positive way, and sometimes it can be a negative way. And but when you get together with someone, any kind of relationship, whether it be a romantic relationship or a working relationship, I always encourage my students to clear the karma so that your lessons don't have to be so intense. Yeah.
So would that be something that when, let's say you first start working with your students, that is something that you work on is clearing out their own personal karma?
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, you got to do it multiple times,
Yeah.
just like removing psychic cords, right? You can remove psychic cords, but there's nothing stopping people from rehooking the psychic cords. You can clear entities from your home, but there's nothing stopping them from popping back in, you know? So it's like energy healing. Well, it's like cleaning your house. You know, you clean your house once, it's going to get dirty. You know, that's how I see energy healing. Some things you can scrub out and you can get rid of it, but it's going to collect dust over time. And sometimes you just need to dust your home um, regularly, and some homes collect a lot of dust, and some homes don't collect a lot of dust. Some homes get very dirty, and some homes don't. So the way I see energy healing is, for me, it's a way of life, and I think energy healing is important. It's important to do energy healing on a regular basis, you know.
Yeah.
But you
So
may not have to work on the same issue. It depends on how deep and how old the issue is. Some people, one session, done.
right.
Some people, they need 5 sessions, you know?
Yeah. So you said something in a podcast that I was listening to, and I think this is important for listeners to hear because I found this myself. You were talking about how typically in a session, you don't get emotionally involved. You have to stay in a pretty neutral place. And of course, anyone as a healer, you feel compassion for what someone is going through, but you can't get overly involved in it, or you're not as clear of an instrument to bring the healing through, because then your emotions cloud it. And what I thought was interesting was what you said was the when now you notice yourself getting maybe not triggered, but a charge with something, it's a an alert for you to let you know, like, oh, maybe here's it's shining a light for something for me that can offer an even deeper level of healing and clearing for myself. I have found the same thing in my work. A lot of the work that I do, what for me is if I have something connected to what that person is dealing with that we're clearing, um, it has to clear through me before I can bring healing for them, because I'm not clear as a vessel, because I may have my own bound up energy around it. So I love doing healing work because it's a really great way for me personally, because there may be not things in my conscious mind that there's more things that yet can just refine and refine and refine. And so I think some people think that, oh, well, if you have been doing healing work for 30 years or 20 years or 50 years or whatever it is, you would have nothing more to clear. And from my experience, that's not real. You can always find something.
As long as you're living, you're
Ah,
going to be working on yourself, right? Because you're your masterpiece. You're the project. You came here to work on you through you. The only time that you won't have anything to work on is when it's your time to exit. But as long as you're breathing, you're going to be working on stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it,
that's one of the reasons why we're here.
yeah. And it should be joyful. It should be joyful to think, oh, what else is possible as I get free? I see it as getting freer and freer. So it's like you're bound by some of these emotions and beliefs and limiting ideas about what reality is. And the more you clear those things away, the more open, the more free, the more possibilities. So some people can think, well, and healing can be very difficult work, and it can be painful. I don't mean to diminish that or bypass that. But the other side of it is this greater sense of freedom and expansion and openness and like magic and wonder in the world.
Yeah, it's like your confidence, if you think about it. You're always going to be working on your confidence, and you never get to an age where you think, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm like 100% confident and I don't need to work on my confidence anymore, right? Like, no, every year, every situation, every trigger, every activation is going to provide a lesson for you to become more confident or not. And for some people, they embrace that process. And for some people, they're very resistant. It's very difficult. It's very challenging for them, you know? One of the things about, getting older is aging out of, transitioning out of insecurities,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And gaining that confidence, but it's a lifelong project because you're a lifelong project. You never stop growing and learning. I should hope not anyway.
I agree. I think that would be a sort of unpleasant life to not be in expansion and developing yourself. So I want to come back because we talked about all of these things that you're clearing. And I know people get really concerned when they hear about things like parasites, entities. We were talking about entities in the home, entities with a person. So how do if you're working with a person and you think, whoa, there's a pretty big entity. And I did hear you say in another podcast that you often see with many kinds of addiction that there is an entity connected to that. Um, how do you work with I know you have a process for clearing entities, but for people listening who are afraid that they have one, Like, what are some things they can do if they can't come in and have a session with you or a healer? Do you have any just advice for people who are scared that they have an entity?
Yes, if you cannot afford a session, I do have light language transmissions to remove entities or black magic or curses, hexes, and spells. That's free
Oh,
on YouTube,
wow.
Instagram, TikTok. Yep. And I also have healing sessions where I am extracting entities from people. And I've also posted them on YouTube. The channel is Alchemist's Arts Healing. You can watch the video of me extracting entities, and you can instruct your body to receive the healing for yourself. And for people who can suspend, time and space, they can receive that healing and it can be very effective for them. Uh, or if you don't want to do any of that, I would say really work on strengthening your immune system and regulating your nervous system, spending lots of time in nature, staying hydrated, well rested, and avoid the news, and things that are very jarring for you or things that make you fearful, anxious, worried, and pull you off center. Spend a lot of time in nature. Eat whole foods, one ingredient foods. Like a food, does it have one ingredient? That's a whole food. If it has more than two, three, four ingredients, that's not a whole food. So, you want to look up alkaline food versus acidic foods.
Hmm.
Maybe get an allergy test to see, are you eating foods that you're allergic to? Broccoli is not good for everyone. Uh, Quinoa is not good for everyone.
Right.
Kale is not good for everyone. So you need to take care of your body, because when entities come into your body or they're around you, they are weakening your aura, right, which is your first line defense, and then they come in and then they exasperate addictions, and they will wreck your diet so that you have a really unhealthy,
Right.
toxic diet, and then you start abusing yourself through food or behaviors, actions, and it will break down your immune system so that they can take your body on a joyride. So you gotta, take salt baths, maybe use essential oils if you're not allergic to lavender or frankincense essential oils. There are binaural beats you can play on YouTube. There are chants you can play. There are binaural beats that you can play that remove or neutralize negative energies in the space in your home. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's lots of different things that you can use. There are crystals that you can use. There are sound baths, sound bowls, tuning forks, speech, the way you talk, right?
Mhm.
Chanting, praying, meditation. Yeah, there's lots of different things that you can do to help yourself.
Does that also help with parasites as well? Would those same
Yeah.
things be helpful for parasites?
Yeah, you might
Okay.
want to do a parasite cleanse.
Okay, in addition to that. Well, that's very
Yeah.
generous that you have so many just free available things for anyone to be able to access that kind of help. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. Now, before I know we're coming up towards the end. Um, if listeners could take away one thing from this conversation, something that you would want people to know about themselves, what is something that you would want people to believe that is true about themselves that they may not currently believe?
I would like everyone to know that they are magical.
Mm,
And everyone has gifts inside of them that are laying dormant, and you don't have to belong to a special club or a race, or you don't. have to go to the right school. You don't have to grow up in the right neighborhood. You don't have to belong in, come from the right family. Everyone has gifts inside of them that are dormant. And I would love to see everyone fulfill their potential in this lifetime, or just be open to, just be curious, just be open to embarking on a journey where you are tapping into your potential. And because the way we've been raised is very disempowering, and it's caused a lot of problems, a lot of a lack of self-love, a lot of hatred towards people, uh, and a lot of people are shut down and disconnected and withdrawn. But if you just spend every day just a few minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes every day, practicing, honing in, connecting to your gifts, your life can be really magical. You cannot surpass, being a human, having a human experience on this planet, because that's what you came here for. But you can absolutely manifest the life of your dreams and what you desire and so much more. Yeah.
That is such a beautiful answer. And can you imagine if every human felt connected to their gifts and their own personal magic? I mean, that's a world I want to live in where all of us are thriving. All of us feel important. All of us feel the magic that is held within us. So that's a beautiful answer. Before we wrap up, I know, do you want to talk a little bit about your books or anything else that I haven't yet asked you that you feel compelled to talk about? I'd love to hear.
Oh, yeah, sure. I have three children's books. One is called The Kindness Guru, and it's about loving yourself. It's a children's book. It's very important, I think, to teach children how to love themselves. That's on Amazon.
Mhm.
And then I have a book called Flipper Feet Pete, and it's about being different and unique and celebrating the our differences. And it's also about consent. And then the third book that I have is also a children's book. The third book that I have is called The Little Healer, and it teaches children how to tap into their healing abilities. But adults can also read it
Yeah.
and learn how to become a healer through that book as well. But all three are children's books, and they're all available on Amazon.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I'm gonna go look at those books. My children are all grown now, but what wonderful baby gifts to give,
Yeah.
that's lovely. And then to connect with you for sessions, it's how do people find you?
Yeah, if you want to book a private session, you can go to ChineseEnergyHealing.com.
Mhm.
And if you're interested in the workshops, you can go to alchemistsartshealing.com. And my YouTube channel have lots of free healing
Yeah.
videos on there, and light language and tutorials is Alchemists Arts Healing. And if you want to follow me on Instagram or TikTok, that's at Garz Chan.
Okay, so many ways to connect. And all of these will be in the show notes as well. So don't worry if you didn't remember all of this. It'll be in the show notes. Garz, I so appreciate you coming on and sharing your wisdom and your incredible light. It's really an honor to have you on today.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel very honored. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you all for staying with us. It would be really great if you could hit like or subscribe so this can get out to more people. We'll see you next time. Thank you.